talk about what radiation does to you. This is so basic, and I think a lot of people know it, but I just want to recap. And then touch a little bit about history, and then going back to the global perspective that Kate talked about. Okay, what does radiation do to you? Actually, the thing that falls onto you is actually the spent fuel in powder form or kind of air form, evaporated air form. So it's that stuff that Cambria said no to that you will get if one explodes. Okay? Make no mistake. That's what you're going to get, inside and outside. And some of those particles, half-life is 200 million years plus. So it's like eternity for human beings. And this fallout goes where the wind carries it. And it drops to the ground and becomes a permanent contamination when the rain falls. Forget this 5 kilometers, 30 kilometers rubbish. And you even got fallout from Chernobyl, which are hundreds of kilometers away.
2,400.
So contamination's patchy, depending on the weather at that time in an hour, and even the wind direction. Wind in different altitude blows into different directions. So you will be running around, but at least when one explodes, you want to know the wind direction, which I have a feeling may be concealed, because that's what happened in Japan.
Yep.
My sister wanted to know which way the wind was blowing, and there was no information. There is normally that sort of information on weather forecast or weather website, but they withheld it so that people wouldn't know where to go, so that they will stay where they are. That's probably what they hoped, but I don't know. And maybe their equipment may have been broken because of the earthquake and tsunami, but I don't know. But it was quite strange that they had all this technology and all this program to direct people into the right direction. They didn't use it. Okay. And radioactive rays cut through your cells and DNAs. And one ray cuts one place. 2 rays cut 2 places. 20 cut 20 places. So the correlation between the level of radiation and the damage is linear. And okay, and there is external and internal radiations. That you can get hit by external radiation, the particles there, it can go through you, cut something, your body may be able to repair it, may not. And there is internal radiation exposure, which you kind of eat something or drink something or inhale, and then it goes inside you, and it kind of radiates from within. And when that happens, you can't get away from it because it's inside you. And it hits the same cells again and again and again and again. Very difficult to repair. And that is why it's very bad for you. And it is said, well, depending on who you ask, 10, 100, 1,000 times more harmful than external. I don't know who is right, but there are various theories. And the IAEA, by the way, wouldn't accept that internal radiation is any more harmful than external radiation. But that kind of puzzles me because it's kind of easy to understand. It's not rocket science. Even a small child might understand that internal radiation may be a little bit more dangerous than external. But anyway. And the bad news about these artificial radioactive particles that we create by producing nuclear weapon or nuclear power is that they mimic nutrients like potassium, magnesium, calcium. So they fool the body into believing that they are those nutrients. They get absorbed into certain organs that require those nutrients. And because they are so foreign to the body, the body can't get rid of it as effectively as they would those nutrients. Am I making sense?
Yes.
Okay, good. So they kind of accumulate. And if you only take bit by bit every day, it kind of still accumulates. And that can do a lot of damage. And it's like body being destroyed from within, because because it kind of hits your cells and DNA all the time, not going anywhere. So it's very bad for you. And it is said that women are 2 to 4 times more susceptible to radiation damage. And depending on who you ask, children are 10 to 100 times more susceptible to radiation damage than grown men. And it seems that all the safety limits are based on data from grown men that are applied across the board. And the younger the children, they're more vulnerable because their cells divide faster to grow. And when their cells divide, those double helix spiral of DNA have to go separate way. When they are together, if one cut, the other can kind of repair it. But when they are separate, they may not get repaired. So the more cell division you have, the more vulnerable you are. And okay, I'm going to move on to history now. After Hiroshima bomb, Japan was occupied by the USA, but there was a study about this effect of Hiroshima bomb onto the people who got it. And the way the study was done was a bit strange because they compared people within 2 kilometers radius of the epicenter. And also, not epicenter, what, ground zero? Do you call it ground zero? Sorry. Yeah. I'm so used to describing earthquakes. So. And those outside the 2 kilometers radius. But those outside were also irradiated. Perhaps, don't you think? It's a bomb from above, and you kind of can't draw a line that this is where the radiation stops and didn't go any further. So they compared these groups as if like the outside people were controlled or normal population. I don't know the reason for it, but it may be that the effect will look smaller or something. And they excluded all the people who died immediately or died before that study started. They just did a follow-up study, like epidemiological study. And they only looked at cancer deaths. So you might have died of something else, or you might have got cancer but didn't die. These people were not included in the study. And the stuff that came up is the gold standard that IAEA has, that 100 millisievert per year is where the line is, and below it, there is no significant health risk. And this is used to justify all the evacuation standards and workers' lifetime limit and all that. Okay, so this figure that is used as gold standard has been fabricated? I don't know. Or I don't know. But it looks to me that even undergraduates can see that this is not the way to conduct research. Anyway, the current consensus, however, there has been many studies since, and the current consensus is that any radiation is harmful. 1 ray cuts 1 place, 2 rays cuts 2 places, 20 rays cuts 20 places. Easy. And also, there has been a change in the X-ray procedure in this country, where women with a child, carrying child, is asked whether she's really, really needed, or I think there is a thing like in place. The single X-ray into the abdominal area would increase double the chance of child leukemia in a child when it's born. And so, external radiation, that is now. So, and in Chernobyl, there has been reports that there have been lots of cases of cancer and leukemia, but also heart disease, respiratory disease, digestive disease, cystitis, diabetes, cataracts, teeth, children with bad teeth, and pain in legs, and birth rate has dropped, and so forth. And this has been documented by the Ukrainian government, and I don't know if they will deliberately print some lies like this. And it just doesn't match up with the WHO saying something like 4,000 thyroid cancer deaths and no more. and I don't know who's lying. And yeah, and there has been a study of field mice or something, 30 kilometers away and 300 kilometers away from Chernobyl. And they've studied them for like 22 generations, and each time the generation goes up, the genetic mutations increase with no out exception. So this is a very frightening aspect for Fukushima. And why doesn't this come out? As these two gentlemen described, there is a pact between WHO and IAEA, and also the people who try to speak out get kind of something like character assassination or grant withdrawn or thrown into prison or whatever. I think nasty things have happened to quite a few people, and I hope it won't happen to me, speaking like this. And nuclear accident thus lead to not only nuclear contamination, but also brutalization of the society, because they will have to suppress information, the truth, the facts, absolutely, in order to be able to continue what they are doing. So, lastly, global perspective. We have done quite a bad things to the Earth and to the future generations, and contamination has been accumulating. We have nuclear tests, leaks, dumping, severe accidents, and many more incidents, perhaps, that we are not told about. And of course, this waste, that will absolutely and always outlive its container. No one can build a container that will last like 200 million years plus, maybe, please, someone. And all the reactors in the world, existing ones, are aging. Yep. And because the neutrons hit them, those structures all the time, they're fragile. And the reactor may be made of like very thick steel or something, but all sorts of pipes are going into it. These are the vulnerable bits. Aging reactors, how they deal with these is by extending the lives of reactors so that they don't have to face the cost of decommission, and also by recycling whatever waste they have produced, by using it in civilian way, perhaps recycling bits and pieces for new builds. That's what Areva is talking about, I think I heard. And also use it militarily, like making shells and bombs, but not calling it nuclear weapons. And recycling, fuel recycling, sounds great that we can reduce that waste, but it only recycles 1% of that stuff. And 99% of the spent nuclear fuel remains as waste. It won't reduce the amount of waste, and it just produces lots of toxins. For example, the one in Japan, the fuel recycling plant, will produce like 1 year worth of contamination that will, from normal reactor, on 1 day. So it's like 365 times. And nuclear power is proliferating all over the world. It goes, like if you squeeze one out from your country, it goes somewhere else. And it finds where the position is weak. So, and the process is exactly the same as nuclear weapon making. So it's really kind of not great, is it? And nuclear empire operates globally. And they seem to control even governments. And they seem to control medicine, academia, media, industrial sector, legal sector, financial sector, all the sectors. That it feels to me. So, and the only place I can find alternative information seems to be the internet, as they say. So, because they are global, maybe we should get global too. And we are responsible for conserving this planet for the future generations and all other creatures. Well, humans probably deserve to kind of get new